Hi, everybody. Dan Illman here, taking a look at race number 6 at Fort Erie on Tuesday. Let's throw up the field for this restricted allowance event. We're going 1 mile and 70 yards, and this race is restricted to Massachusetts breds. It's not a big field, but I really believe that the most important handicapping factor in this race is the pace. So we'll take a look at the Timeform US pace projector for this race. It is a red bar situation, which indicates that the pace should be fast, and it could set things up for late runners. The number 2, Dr. Ruthless, expected to make the lead. And yes, she should be fresh off the layoff. She should be in front early, but she should also face pressure from stretch-out sprinters like the 5, JC Indy, the 1, Tropical Joy, and perhaps the 4, Spectacular Sociano. We'll begin our analysis with the 1, Tropical Joy, by going back and watching her most recent race. Her first ever start at Fort Erie was a successful one, but it was only against 2 other rivals, and she had an easy trip, uncontested, on a slow pace. With that sort of situation, Tropical Joy is supposed to win, and she did. But perhaps the tables might be turned as she stretches out in distance with a faster pace situation. It's highly unlikely that Tropical Joy is simply going to be able to walk and dictate her own pace on the lead this time around. So maybe horses like Successful Saint and the Doc is In, who chased Tropical Joy in vain last time out and were up against it from the pace standpoint, get a better setup this time around, and again might be able to turn the tables on Tropical Joy. Obviously, if Tropical Joy runs her last race, that 67 Beyer speed figure, she's going to be tough. But she's going to be a short price in here, and she's going to have to earn that figure in a different fashion than she did last time out when loose on an easy lead. The 2 is Dr. Ruthless, who won 2 starts back in gate-to-wire fashion around 2 turns at Finger Lakes, and then was the pace setter last time out in a major stakes race restricted to Massachusetts breds at Finger Lakes. As I mentioned in the open, she's going to be fresh because she hasn't run since November, and that's a big concern. Going a demanding 2-turn distance off a lengthy layoff in a red bar Timeform US pace scenario, that's all working against Dr. Ruthless. She's really going to have to be ready to go if she's going to win this race. She's capable. She's got plenty of back races that indicate she can win a race like this, but the layoff does concern me as well as the pace situation. Let's take a look at the number 3 in here. That's Shamrock's Rule. And Shamrock's Rule was beaten 9 lengths last time out, but the horse that won that race is pretty good. She came in from New York and was 1-5 in there and won like a 1-5 shot. Shamrock's Rule only earned a 39 Beyer speed figure in this race, but what she has going for her as she takes on the boys is that she's going to get a fast and contested pace to rally into. Now, her Beyer speed figures pale in comparison to those of the main contenders, but this race shape really works to her favor. I think she's a little light on the morning line compared to where she should be at post time. If she drifts, I might consider using her at least on the bottom of single race exotics, especially if you believe that this pace will fall apart. Let's watch the last race from the 4, Spectacular Sociano, who finished 3rd in a claiming event at Finger Lakes. This was a race where I thought you had to be on the lead to be successful. The winner of this race was the heavy favorite and went gate to wire, and Spectacular Sociano was widest turning into the stretch. Must have been 5 deep turning for home. Ends up finishing an even 3rd. I thought it was a good effort for a horse that has won around 2 turns in the past, and perhaps most importantly, has also won from off of the pace. The recent Beyer speed figures are solid. They're just a notch below the top contenders in this race. But this horse does have races on the go back that indicate he can win with the right trip. I'm looking at his race 3 starts back, his seasonal debut, and I know that race was a short sprint, but he came from way off of it to win. And as I mentioned, he's won around 2 turns in the past, and he's tactical. Drawing outside of the main speeds, the 1 and the 2, and perhaps letting the 5 go, will allow Spectacular Sociano at 12-1 on the morning line to sit in a nice spot stalking, getting the jump on the true closers. I think this horse offers a bit of value in this race. The 5 is JC Indy, and JC Indy sprinted last time out at Fort Erie and was up close to some pretty legitimate fractions before backing up badly, and that's sort of been the case recently for this horse. He has a bit of back class. The recent form just is not there. Beaten double-digit lengths in, what is it now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 races in a row while losing ground in the stretch. JC Indy has some speed, but the problem is that JC Indy's facing other speeds while not in the greatest of form. I'm concerned about JC Indy at this spot. A deserved long shot on the morning line at 15-1. The 6 is the Doc Is In. We mentioned the Doc Is In finished behind Tropical Joy last time out, but trying to rally from third in a 3-horse field with no pace, that's not really what's going to help a horse like the Doc Is In. He had nothing to run at. His best races have been when he gets a little bit of pace, when he's able to relax early, and when he's able to come with one run. I'm a little bit concerned about this distance for the Doc Is In, but he's getting a much better pace setup than he did last time out, and I think we'll see a late run from him. 9-2 on the morning line. Again, a little bit light in my opinion. He's going to have to drift. And the horse that might be the one to beat is the 7 Successful Saint, who was the beaten favorite by Tropical Joy last time out. When tracking that horse, trying to come with a run on the turn to get into contention, and then was just turned away. Again, that pace scenario didn't work out for Successful Saint. This time, Successful Saint's going to let another horse do the dirty work in the early portion of this race, and that could really help his chances, because I believe he's going to sit back and make one run. Successful Saint still has some upside potential. He's a relatively lightly raced 4-year-old. This is only his 12th lifetime start. I think we'll see an improved performance from Successful Saint in this race. We take a look at my top picks for this race. I want to take a chance with a bit of a long shot. I do respect Tropical Joy. I especially respect Successful Saint, but I want to give Spectacular Sociano a chance, stretching back out in distance after that wide trip against a speed-favoring track at Finger Lakes. I think he can sit in mid-pack early and fourth behind the 3 speeds and get the jump on the true closers. 12-1 on the morning line for Spectacular Sociano. My top pick to kick off the 20-cent pick 4 in race number 6 at Fort Erie on Tuesday. Best of luck.